Hey everybody. See, I got a couple of new people that have followed me today. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. I know it's a Friday night, so there's a lot of people doing a lot of cool things and probably not sitting in front of their computer watching somebody tattoo or slam a bunch of needles into their leg a few thousand times a minute. Past videos, I've showed kind of how my gear was set up. I've showed how I have done the stencil. This one's been on for a minute, and I have been doing. I tried doing my right leg the other day to some success. I'll say the tattoo turned out, but the aftercare would have been great if the actual tape hadn't hadn't just ripped my skin off whenever I pulled it off. So I was going to give the right leg a little while to recuperate and shoot back to the left leg, which is what I did yesterday. And I did two small tattoos. They're all relatively small. The one I'm doing today is about the size of my thumb. It's not too big. However, I do plan on trying to pack some black into it, which I haven't really done anything more than a little bit of shading before in the past. So this will be new. This will be different for me. Every day I try to do something a little bit different to see what I can learn. If I mess up, I mean, I won't say I'm completely irreverent whenever it comes to tattoos. I do think there is, a really amazing thing that they do. It's one of the reasons that I'm doing it is because I find it to be therapeutic in the transition that I'm going through in life right now. Uh, Again, I'm not irreverent about it. However, there's a lot less risk, I guess, whenever I'm not having to worry about making somebody else upset by doing something wrong and making a mistake. This is my leg or my legs, and I get to look at them every day, and I've just been really excited. Every chance I look down and I see all these tiny little reminders of something that turned out to be pretty good. So again, sorry, got a little sniffles. Apologize for that. Hopefully that won't be too annoying to anybody. I will say that I do have, like, I ordered these needles uh, not too long ago, and I thought that I was ordering a little bit more of a wide variety. And I think, honestly, I think I did. In the company that shipped me the needles, they shipped the wrong stuff. They didn't have what I wanted in stock on one of the needles. So instead, they shipped me 4 boxes of something else, refunded my money, and sent me a couple of color samples of ink. I mean, they still didn't get me what it was that I wanted, but they did get me some stuff that I hadn't tried out yet. Uh, I bought them on clearance because they were supposedly going to expire soon. I don't think that 2024 is soon, but whatever. I got a good deal on them. One thing I have noticed is with I'm using the same grip and the same machine, which I'm covering up the logos on because I don't want to embarrass them. I think I've said that in the past as well, by making art on my leg with their product, and not being something that other people would be like, "Oh yeah, I want that." But I use the same. I got these disposable cartridge grips, and they're really comfy. They're really nice, so I don't wrap them up. I'm also doing rather small things. My fingers don't get tired, so I don't have to wrap this in a ton of soft tape. But one thing that I've noticed with the needles that I purchased, um, it's kind of inconsistent whether or not I'm going to get uh, like a really long throw or something really short out of it. So the reason that the needle is not currently in its wrapping like this one is because I wanted to try it out and make sure that the throw was good. And it really wasn't. It was sticking out like about a quarter of an inch, and I think I probably would have died trying to make that work on the fly. Now the grip is adjustable, which is cool. So I was able to adjust the throw. It still might be a little short. I might have made it too short just out of cautiousness. So I might have to adjust to throw it out a little bit more, but we'll see. So that being said, the needles that I ordered, they were not they were not these. These what I've got right now are actually round shaders, but they're a relatively small round shader. So I found a really good use for making some really bold lines with it. I've seen other people, on YouTube. I've seen a couple of people actually on Twitch that have used the round shaders for some larger line work, and just getting that stuff, a little bit more bold, packed in with the black. I think the danger really is some of the lines might look a little bit fuzzy, or or you might overcompensate and go to that fatty, oily layer underneath the skin, and then it looks like a bruise, kind of like a small bruise, a blowout. Luckily, I haven't seen on any of the work that I've done where I have done that, where I've had a blowout. So, um, so hopefully we can continue that trend. I'm going to go ahead and switch over to a view where you can actually see my leg. Um, and let's go ahead and get rid of that message. I didn't set up my closed caption for this particular chat. So I've kind of switched things up a little bit as well. I moved the microphone to where it's not quite in front of my face as much. It's a little bit more off to the side. After I'm not a vain person. I don't like looking at myself. I don't like listening to myself. So whenever it comes to these videos and everything, I haven't really gone back and just watched them to see what goes on. But I noticed that the audio quality was a little bit off, especially whenever I was working, on a piece. So I've talked about placement of the stencils as well. So this might look a little bit elongated, might look a little bit. This is, I don't have flabby legs, but I haven't exactly been doing squats either, uh, curls, or any, really any leg exercise. I think the most that I get is walking sometimes, not all the time. My wife is in the room, and so I can't lie about how much I work out. I have to tell the truth. I haven't worked out, but I still wouldn't call these legs flabby. These things are nice. So I was talking about that aftercare. So this is from tape. This is like, I don't know. I think I would have been safer, like just going, like, I don't know, without any kind of covering on my little ghost there. So that's not me. Like, that's not, from whatever, being beaten or anything like that. True. Walking to the fridge doesn't count as a workout. Got it. But the curls from the beer, like, that can be good. And yeah, tape can be dangerous. Unfortunately, like, the thing is like, I was actually using like a budget, like Walmart brand tape, and I'm like, oh, that doesn't, that won't stick to anything. Well, it didn't stick to the gauze that I put on. The gauze was gone. Whenever I woke up, it was like floating around in the bed somewhere. But the but the tape was stuck firm. So we'll just uh, we'll just let it be said that that's not from like a hammer, or my wife doesn't abuse me or anything like that. Um, Blink once for yes, no. Um, but yeah, so this guy, I'm going to try to outline this, and I mean, it's drawn in kind of a finer line. I tried to make it as thick as I could, and I'm actually going to, instead of going on the inside or the outside of this line, I'm going to actually be trying to follow this pretty close. I'm going to take my time and work on it pretty slow. Um, I'm I might actually pause to go get some water or something, just to you know keep myself from getting overly attached to oh, I gotta get it done, right? Like we'll just slow down this time and go. Now I've heard in the past also that I've mentioned this has a bag on it. That's just good practice. I don't have the machinery to take the motor out of this and bake this at 9,000 degrees for 3 days or whatever to sterilize it. Again, why I use these disposable grips right now. So I just bag it because I don't want to get a blood infection, and it's just good practice. So gloves, right? Yes, I know where my hands have been, and that's why we wear gloves. Um, but also, it could be dirt or whatever under your fingernails, and it's just not worth it. So it's bagged. This does have a bar that moves kind of in a circular motion here. Whoop. Almost got me. Kind of in a circular motion here, and because of that, like it moves up and down as a direct drive, and it beats the needle in the cartridge up and down, forces it to go up and down. So whenever that bar moves up and down, it could hit the bag. It could make a horrible noise. I've heard in the past people have said that it's not a big deal. They can't hear it or they can barely hear it. Like I said, I did. I adjusted my sound a little bit so that while I'm working, it's not completely muted. Because before it seemed like whenever I was listening in, I'd get down and start working, and everything just kind of turned to mumbles. And that might just be me. It might not even be an issue with audio. So we'll find out. I have a rather large cap of black ink. This round shader, we're going to go ahead and start outlining this and see where we end up. I have made mistakes in the past. It's my leg, and I figure it's just growing pains. Nothing that I can't go back and fix. So at least not yet. Without further ado, let's go ahead and load this thing up with ink and get cracking. So right before let's just go ahead and do this. Right before we start this, I'm just going to put a thin layer. I've got this non-petroleum based oil. I've had some uh, interesting reactions with this. Not skin reactions, but um, I've noticed, especially with these newer needles that I've got, that it seems like maybe they clog up, and it causes the ink to spill more, um, and just kind of spread around. But this stuff is mostly to keep my leg clean where I can see it. I'm going to put a pretty good stretch on this. Try to get this in a light that I can see. I know that there's a glare. I need to be able to see though, so the glare isn't going to bother me too much. Hopefully, it doesn't bother you guys either. I'm going to try to keep this at a fairly tight angle, so I might have to be picking up and laying down a little bit. Oh my gosh, I've got ink on my leg. So I am a little bit shaky. Um, that's because even in my most confident, best days ever or whatever, um, knowing exactly what it is that I'm talking about, I still, if I had to talk in front of people, a little nervous. And then add some needles to that, and then it just gets like really fun. Um, I will look up on occasion. Feel free to chat chat with each other, chat among yourselves, chat with me, ask me questions. I think uh, there's actually a suggestion box available. It should be running. So if you have any suggestions, by all means, hit me up. Use that. You can go ahead and use the chat, whatever. We're easy here. Um, I have not yet mastered the art of the single pass line, and until I do, I'm not going to say that I am confident in doing this. I will say that it's not completely bad. I would love to do this all in a single pass. However, without doing too much wiping, um, if I go to look at what it is that I'm doing and I don't, and I wipe something away and, there goes my stencil or part of it, like that can be upsetting. All right, give that a little dab there. Again, not trying to wipe away the stencil. See that that's actually a fairly good line. And I'll take it. I will take it. All right, let's go ahead and the little shine part here. I'm going to go on the outside of it because I want to keep as much. I've noticed whenever I draw and then I go back and try to, you know, shade in something, and I put in this hard shine. Um, Actually, I end up overpowering it, and it ends up looking a lot smaller than what it is. Go ahead and wipe that while I'm thinking about it. Let's see. I am doing something that I don't really like to do. In order to get a good stretch, I do have my thumb on the other part of the stencil. Luckily, that didn't wipe off. Um, I've been pretty good about getting the stencil on a good 15 minutes before, I start anything, except for, the time that I showed how to do a stencil. And then you could kind of see, even in that video, the importance of, letting the stencil set for a minute before you actually start working. So if you go, and I highly suggest not doing this at home, not trying this yourself, anything like that. But so if you go to a shop and you know you you've worked out the design that you want with your person, your artist who's going to be doing the work, and if they seem like they're under like a deadline and want to rush things, like I mean, try to get them to slow down. I doubt that they will. Like chances, whoosh, yep, with um, chances are they know that they don't want to rush anything. They know that they want you to come back. They know that they want word of mouth, like all that kind of stuff. See how bad that was. Woo, that wasn't too bad. I'll take that too. So they're gonna let the stencil set, but if they do seem like they're wanting to rush, like get them to slow down. You know, you don't want them relying on a stencil and then suddenly having a free hand like halfway through, the design that you've been wanting your whole life or whatever. Starting to look a little bit muddy there. We'll throw a very thin layer of this not to be named oil on here to clear things up a bit. Okay. Now, I know I just did this. Get in there, ink. There we go. I think a majority of the mistakes that I have made, things that I'm kind of, have learned through, have gotten better about, um, are really due to rushing, you know, like trying to get things set up, in a time to meet my own deadlines, trying to, rush through um, the actual um, line work. Like, yeah, I don't think you can rush this. Like, and come out with something that you're like, yes, I'm very proud of that. And I just don't think that's possible. I mean, I could be wrong. I met this guy back in my high school days. Like I thought, I wanted to grow up. I wanted to be an illustrator. That's like, you know, that was my dream job, illustration, and uh, and I thought I was pretty good. And and then I met this guy who he could take any, he could look at somebody like for any, just a short amount of time, and uh, and then just do in like 30 seconds this, comic book version of him that it was quite apparent, who it was that he was illustrating and the hair, the proportions, like everything. And I mean, he could just do this like, out of his head. It wasn't sketchy like what I did. Like I still like, even though I've done my time in an art school, and I won't say that's the wrong way to say that, isn't it? Did my time in an art school. I spent some time in an art school, and I have my design degree, and I still am really sketchy, like not as a person, as an artist. I just like I scratch out these lines like that are pretty, that I don't commit is what my art teachers would say. You're not committing. No, I'm not committing because I'm going to draw this line 5,000 times, and I'll know when the when the right one is there, and when it's there, I will I'll erase all the bad ones. About even. That looks about even. We'll take it. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I am going to just pat this down a little bit better. See where we're at. I think that's a fairly decent outline. I like it. Oh yeah, you can't see it very well. There we go. So that's what it looks like whenever I'm standing up. Uh, I think that's a nice bold outline. I'm surprised uh, by how much I actually am getting behind the school of thought that it's okay to use a shader. Yeah, thank you. A shader for for line work, as long as it's not too delicate of line work. So I'm going to go into these dark spots for the skull here.
And I am kind of going to go around like the area where I did the lining and just try to make this a little bit more, I should say, a little bit harder for me to mess up whenever it comes to pulling out the that color packing needle, that magnum that I have. So if I get a little bit, you know, like I don't have to worry about getting too close or going over the line work that I did, and ruining it for myself. Now the bad thing about this is, you know, you go over this stuff more than once and you start doing some trauma there to the skin. Oh my gosh, there's a cat by my feet. So hygienic. This is awesome. Thank you for the visit, cat. She's just a friendly reminder that you need to make sure that you go to a professional, guys. You don't want she quit scratching up wooden box behind me. Let me know how she feels about it. But you don't want to be dealing with pet crap while you're getting a tattoo. Nothing says nothing says cleanliness like having a cat running around what is essentially a low grade surgery. Well, I think that before I go back over that again, I'm going to leave that to rest for a second. And we'll move on to the nose. It is rather small, so it's not something that I would want to try to pull out like a magnum and try to fill this in. So I'm hoping that I can get this right the first time, and not have to go back again. But I know that if I can't do a good first pass line on something, probably not going to fill in too deep dark with color. Now, the super awesome thing about this is that um, I can just touch this up. I don't even have to make an appointment with myself. I just I just show up and sit down and do it. I'm gonna see if maybe I missed any lines. Doesn't really look like I did. I do see some spots in the eye, but I definitely didn't get with this round shader. This is a I'm not gonna say it's a small round shader. I mean it is, but it's not. It doesn't feel small whenever it's stabbing your leg a bunch of times. I think. I mean, I'm gonna kind of go around these areas as well because this is the area that I am gonna pack with color. We might make the top of this red whenever I get some red ink. That'd be pretty cool. And maybe go over some of the smaller areas, not the hard highlights, but the And there's my dog. Again, like it just screams of hygiene. Everything's good, right? Way too far away from me. The reason, again, why I'm doing this, why I'm going in with such a tiny, set of needles to do such a what seems like it would be a rather large job for color, you know, not super large. It's not like a phoenix rising on someone's chest or something, but it's kind of large for this teeny tiny shader. But I really want to have that buffer of control, um, so I don't have to trust myself, who's really new at this game, to get that larger magnum in there and accidentally go over outline, outside the lines there. More ink. That up for a second. Also, since I haven't used anything that's really meant to pack in the color before, I really like, I want to have that extra buffer to experiment and hopefully walk away with some more knowledge without necessarily learning from mistakes, if that makes sense. Now, that being done, just as a kind of preemptive, let me see where we're at, kind of progress here. I'm going to this. This is just some green soap. Makes it sound real generic. Just some green soap, guys. Yeah, see, that it's a good thing that I will be going back over this with something that's meant to pack a little color. You can see on some of these raised areas, I really, I didn't want to get, didn't want to go over it 5,000 times, turn it into hamburger meat, uh, and regret. But I'm glad that I did go at that the way that I did, so that it allows me to be able to see where I need to work on things a little bit more. All right, so I am pulling out the. This is a rather small Magnum. Um, I love these things because they scare the crap out of me. Now, I have used a curved Magnum in the past, and I used it mostly for shading, not so much packing in color.
I did a little bit of color packing on the ghost up here, in the sleeves, just a little bit. I think I actually used the round shader for the eyes, and then let's see, and then I did the shading on the heart with the round magnum, um, and this guy. Uh, I used I used a round shader for lining on that. Um, that I mean, it is a lot rougher than the smaller, teeny tiny liners, but the teeny tiny liners are a lot less forgiving. I think I've mentioned that also. Uh, that it's good to have that extra level of being able to make a mistake. Now let's see. So you can see this thing is not small. Um, Whenever I fill it with ink and start, going in on this, and trying to get the color in there, I will not try. I will get the color in there. Um, it's gonna be a mess. It's gonna dump that ink pretty much everywhere. Uh, we're just gonna. It's a little bit too much. That's okay. It feels good. Feels good, man. All right, and then I will just kind of pat some of that down. So not so much. Just need a little tiny bit. Don't need a whole lot there. All right. Go ahead and start this bad boy back up. And we might be able to get a view. That thing's really sticking out there. It is really sticking out there. Go this way. Let's go shorter, shall we? That looks better. That looks better. Yeah. Not trying to we're not trying to play those kind of games today. Not today. All right. This is like I said, this is gonna just dump ink. Uh, at least that's what I've been told. So I just about made like one really terrible mistake. I don't know if you guys saw that I was starting to move a little bit sideways with this thing. Um, Sideways is not the direction you want to go. Uh, this thing is, like a steak knife. I'm not trying to cut with it. I'm just trying to I'm just trying to pack some color in. So this is very much an experiment for me. This color packing, um, my first attempt at doing this. Uh, I don't know, area this big. I really wish that I really wish I knew what I was doing a little bit more. This is a it's a learning experience. Like I said, I keep saying.
I think I'm saying it more for me than for anybody else. Um, keep reminding myself that, of course, I'm going to make mistakes, and that's okay, fine. I would rather make these mistakes on myself while while I have the time to learn a little bit more about what's going on. Um, than ever think about like you know, touching somebody else with this. So I'm trying a variety of methods to kind of to get the color to pack in. I've noticed that just using it straight up like a paintbrush, not the worst, but it also I feel like there's a better way that would do a little bit less trauma. You know, I don't want scars, right? Like I want art. I want something I can look at, not something that I'm going to worry about scarring up and doing damage, right? But it looks like I've got a pretty good little method of I'm learning, right? But it seems like I can just kind of dab in, fairly, I won't say quick strokes, nothing on accident, I should say, but very deliberate, small strokes, and that actually doesn't seem to be doing too bad. Nothing too quick. Just yeah. So I can definitely tell where I've gone over it more times than what I'm comfortable with. Um, one of the guys on here, good old turkey noodle, um, has told me that skin is resilient. This is true. He's definitely not wrong. Um, but it also kind of lets you know when it's had enough. Please, man, stop with the noodles. You just gotta ask yourself, really want to stop with the needle? I'm of the generation where quitters never win or something, and winners don't know when to quit. I think that's how So I'm kind of playing with fire here because I said, I'm not going to go up to the edge. And what am I doing? I'm using a very straight set of needles to go right on up to the edge. Mostly because that um, round shader did not work as well as what I wanted it to. And I, honestly, I'm going to leave that. That is my bad. It is not, definitely not the round shader's fault. Like, I think I was moving too quick and not really giving the shader time to put that ink in there. Yeah, I appreciate you sharing that link. Thank you. It's awesome. But I'm make sure, trying to hold on to this just right. Judge where the needles are coming out at. I got this great new light. My wife got me this great new light, and definitely I can definitely see better for sure, like tons better. Um, but I'm still shocked at how these needles move so damn fast. Can't really make out where they're hitting. So, like, not exactly. Pretty dang close, though. A lot better than what I could with this little tiny itty bitty light that I was using before. I can definitely see that's some bloody bits. Hey, thank you. I appreciate it. Um, not having not having the microphone directly in front of my face, I think helps out a lot. Um, and it also keeps me from mumbling too much. I hope. Um, not too bad. That's not too bad. I see a couple of places in there. Nothing, nothing that a little more ink won't help. But we're gonna go in these smaller areas here. We're just gonna put this down right here in these eyes, where it is a lot. Well, I should say a lot. It's a little bit more difficult to get these right for me. Mostly because it is such a small space. But yeah, I think I'll be playing around. Hopefully not a lot, but I want to have the best setup that I can that works well, where people can hear me, understand what it is that I'm saying, kind of at least understand the words. I am speaking English, um, even if they don't understand the meaning. I'm trying really hard. Like sometimes I know what it is that I'm gonna say, so I'll just I'll be talking and then I'll just like that. Uh-oh. Almost looks like I knew what I was doing. Lies. Definite lies. But I have to say though, I can totally see why, most most professionals, whenever they set up a shop, you see why they have like a understanding with their staff. You know, apprenticeships are a must. I've heard the good, I've heard the bad, but you know, trial and error. Trial and error is probably not the best way to learn. You know what that was? Oh, thank you for following me. That was my lovely wife. Actually, even though she's in the room, she knows I'm over here doing something. What's he doing? I don't know. It's probably better, honestly, if she doesn't watch, and that way she can be like, "Oh, that looks good," as opposed to like, having to watch me do it and be like, "Oh my gosh, I thought you were just saying that you didn't know what you were doing." She knows I don't know what I'm doing, and she loves me anyway. All right, see what we got here. See just a couple of spots in the black on the bottom. Hard to see on that, but that aren't fully packed. Um, that's okay. Um, I think I can hit those one more time. I mean, it's just skin, right? And so it's so close. I hope my wife does not find the suggestion box because she might suggest something like, maybe you could clean up after yourself better. I suggest that you get a real job, something like that. And that won't look good for the rest of my married friends. Their wives might be asking them, "Where's your suggestion box?" And then all my married friends don't want to talk to me anymore. Mm, okay. Second preliminary. I don't know if you can say that. Can you have two preliminaries? One more early look at the damage. I mean, the design. Let's see where we can set this. That, that's hair. All right. I don't think that that's too bad. I thought that this one was going to take longer than the rest of them because I'd never used a flat mag before. I'd never attempted to pack color before. I think
think honestly, I think that's it. I think I, all right. So I learned a couple things. I learned slow and steady uh, definitely wins the race. You don't have to go back over and over and over and over and hurt yourself more. I learned that I didn't need quite as much ink as I dumped out there. Hey, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. I know you. Um, you came in right at the end. That's okay. That's fine. You came, and that's all that matters. But yeah, I think yeah, that's it. If you have any questions, anything like that, be sure to hit me up. Um, I have go to my about me. There's plenty of ways to get in touch with me. You have suggestions, tips, tricks, anything like that? Any people that you think I should follow? Folks that are also trying to get kind of started in this. Thanks, I appreciate it. You can see it tomorrow in person and see that it looks a lot better actually than it does on screen. Um, I mean that everybody says that I'm sure, but I mean it. Um, yeah. So yeah, hit me up. And thanks for stopping by, everybody. I will see y'all not tomorrow and not the next day, but on Monday.